One of the things that's very important is I want to be able to tell you how to log in. And I'm on campus, so anytime you're on campus, whether you're physically on campus or you're just using the wireless, maybe you're outside of a building using wireless, it recognizes your IP address of the computer on the network, and it does not make you log in. I want to give you an example of what it looks like when you log in, and I'm going to go find a particular source that I know is going to make me log in, whether I'm on campus or not. And one of those is going to be a particular electronic resource for APA. And when I click on that, um, I see that it's going to call for a login, and it says, "Hey, log in with your W number, and then log in with your 6-digit birthday." And I click that, and it should pull it right up. It's saying, "Hey, there it is." So here's the document. This kind of login box is going to pop up every time you go into one of the databases, or you go into an ebook or something of that nature, or a video. You're going to have to log in. So I just want to make sure you know how to do that. Okay, now we want to talk about how we can use some of these 150 databases that we have. I'm going to go to articles and databases, and we got some choices here. We can do databases by subject. So let's say you're in a philosophy class, you have no idea what database to use. Go to subjects and then go over to philosophy, and it's going to give you a list of good philosophy related databases. Okay, but maybe you're in an English class. You might use the databases for English, and it'll give you good databases related to the study of English language and literature and writing. You can also do something different that may be helpful to you. You can do articles and databases, and you can go by databases by name. Maybe your professor wants to give you a particular database to use. Says, "Look, I want you to get all your articles for this particular topic. I want you to get it from Project Muse." You say, "Well, what do? I'm going to go to databases by name. Then I'm going to go over to N to P, and we're going to go to Project Muse." And I'm going to click on it. It's going to bring me right in. And then I'm going to have all my articles going to come from Project Muse. We can also use the favorite databases. I want to talk about those two to find articles. We're going to go to Academic Search Complete. It's a huge database. It's part of the EBSCO company, and it's going to cover everything from chemistry articles to business articles to articles on literature and that sort of thing. So I'm going to do a search, Academic Search Complete, and I'm going to say, okay, here I am. I've got my database up. Academic Search Complete. It's a general database. It's like the Walmart of databases, covers all different topics, and it's huge. But I want to make sure that I click full text. The reason I want to click full text is so that I only get articles that I can actually see, actually print, actually get a copy of. If I don't click full text, a percentage of the articles are going to just be citation. The actual article's not there. And if you're off campus only, it's going to be very difficult to get that article immediately, maybe in a timely manner. You would have to use something called interlibrary loan. It may take a few days, and so good idea to click full text if you're especially if you're in a 100 200 level undergraduate course. We're going to do a search again. We're going to do this time student loans, and we're going to do student loans, and then I got some options. I can do and or not. I want to talk about those three Boolean operators. This is something that librarians use often. We describe and teach this often. And narrows or focuses a search. The more you and together, the more those keywords they all have to show up in the particular record to come up. That's what we do most of the time. You can also use or expands. A good reason to do or is if you're going to do synonyms. Like you might do student loans. We'll do that search, and in this database we get 21,000 back. But you say, it might be okay, a good idea for me to do student loans or student debt, because sometimes it's used similarly. So now instead of 21,000, we're going to have 21,800. We get a few more. So that's or, it expands, or expands. It does multiple searches at once. An example of using or is that, like, if you're in a biology class, you might do crawfish or crayfish, or the scientific name for crawfish, if you're searching for research on that topic. Maybe you're writing a paper on it. But in this case, we're doing synonyms: student loans or student debt. But I might want to narrow it down. I might want to just narrow it down to something particular, like mental health. We're down to 237. First one is going to be a periodical. In this particular database, this first one, Generation Z Gets to Work, it's going to be from Newsweek Global. It's 2019 article. It's a periodical, which is a magazine. Now you've got some choices. You can just learn more about it. Go to the magnifying glass. Title, author, sources, always your journal name. You can go into the abstract and look at what the article's about. That's a description. And then you got some choices. You can get it as an HTML. That's going to be plain text, no page numbers, typically. It's basically, even usually loses your actual images, like pictures and so forth. Flipster's great. You can go into Flipster, and that's great to read the article like just like it is in a magazine. Has a very similar feel to being in that magazine. But for what we're going to do right now, we're going to go into HTML. We're going to pull it up. You can see, you can listen to the article, you can save it to the Google Drive, so forth. But if you go in and you say, okay, I'm reading this article, and I'm going to quote this. I'm going to quote this from this paragraph, and I'm going to put this in my paper, and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to cite it. But notice you can't cite a page number because there is no page number. As we scroll down, this is a fairly lengthy article. I bet when we get to the end, we're going to see a bunch of photographs and images and so forth that aren't there. It's because it's an HTML, it's plain text, and they're saying, hey, we had a photo there, but we can't show it to you because this is a plain text article. So in a magazine, we're going to go back to our results list. Let's look at another source. This next one, A Certainty of Hopelessness, Debt, Depression, and the Discharge of Student Loans Under the Bankruptcy Code. That's a little dated article. It's 2009. You see that? It's going to be from a journal called Law and Psychology Review. I can just look at that and tell it's italicized. But if I went over to my magnifying glass, I see that it's under source. That's my journal name. And if I want that one, it's a 16-page article. I can pick the PDF. If I click on it, it'll pull up, and you'll notice that it's going to be formatted just like this law review, this journal. And if I scroll down, it's got footnotes. If I quote from this particular sentence here, notice that I've got the page numbers up top, page 152, and there we go. We're set. If we want it, we can print it, we can download it, we can save it to the Google Drive, so on and so forth.